She doubted the old legends until the human drew blood. The edge of the galaxy was a quiet place, too quiet for most explorers. Stars were few. The distances between them were vast, and the space there was filled with old radiation and drifting dust. Most maps simply labeled it uncharted, low strategic value. It was the kind of region no one cared about. No trade routes crossed it, and no great civilization saw reason to explore it. But one day, something changed. A Zhurkai exploration fleet, 10 ships strong, led by Captain Vartil, drifted past the galactic border, following a faint energy signal. The Zhurkai were a proud and curious species. Their skin shimmered like polished bronze, and their large eyes could see spectrums humans never could. They had conquered dozens of star systems, and they believed they had seen everything the galaxy could offer. Yet the signal they were following was strange. It pulsed like a heartbeat, deep and steady, coming from a lonely star that should have been long dead. "Captain, the readings persist," said Science Officer Relna. Her voice was calm, but her frills fluttered with tension. "That system has no habitable worlds, no major resources, yet something is generating power there." Captain Varto leaned forward in his command chair, his eyes narrowing. Could it be an automated beacon? A lost probe from the old wars? "Perhaps," Relna replied. "But the energy pattern doesn't match any known technology. It's layered, like several signals stacked together." Vartil's ship, the shimmering path, moved closer. The rest of the fleet followed cautiously, their engines humming in the darkness. As they neared the dying star, their scanners detected an orbiting structure, small, metallic, and surrounded by a faint shield field. It looked like an old station, barely the size of a cargo ship. Yet the energy it emitted was enormous, far too much for something so small. "What species built this?" asked one of the junior officers. Vartil didn't answer right away. He studied the markings on the station, a pattern of letters, rough and blocky, carved into a metal plate. His translator flickered for several seconds before producing a result. "Human outpost, Epsilon Gate." The bridge fell silent. "Human," Relna repeated, confusion in her tone. "That name exists only in old archives. Primitive species. Lost centuries ago." Vartil frowned. "Primitive or not, something of theirs survived out here. Prepare a landing team." The shuttle touched down on the outpost's docking platform. It was covered in frost, and the air was thin but breathable. The human design was simple: straight lines, solid frames, and no decoration. Function over form. Inside, the corridors were cold and dark, lit only by the glow of emergency lights. Dust floated like snow in zero gravity. The team advanced carefully, scanning each room. The technology looked ancient by Zhurkai standards: bulky consoles, thick wires, and mechanical doors. Yet the system still had power. That alone was strange. No generator should have lasted this long. They reached a central chamber, and there, on a single working display, words appeared. "Automated system online. User identification required." Relna stepped forward. "It's still active," she whispered. "After all this time." Before she could touch the console, a voice echoed through the chamber, soft, distorted, and unmistakably human. "Identify yourself. You are trespassing in restricted space." The explorers froze. The voice didn't sound like an AI greeting. It sounded cautious, alive even, Vartil replied carefully. "We are explorers of the Zhurkai Dominion. We come in peace. Identify yourself." There was a long pause. Then the voice spoke again. "Explorers. You shouldn't be here. Leave while you still can." The words were not shouted, yet there was a weight behind them. A quiet warning. Relna frowned. "Captain, it must be an automated recording. No human could have survived here for so long." "Maybe," Vartil said softly. "But this technology shouldn't be working either." They searched further through the station. Every corridor told a story. Half-burned signs, empty living quarters, walls scratched with names and dates. The humans had been here for a long time, maybe hundreds of years ago. But what were they doing this far from the core worlds? Eventually, they found a sealed door at the deepest level. It had a strange marking on it, a triangle surrounding a circle with the word Eternum written beneath. When Relna scanned it, her instruments malfunctioned. Readings spiked into impossible ranges. The energy coming from behind that door was beyond anything the Zhurkai had ever measured. "Captain," she whispered, "this power, it's bending local gravity. The station shouldn't even be standing." Vartil stared at the symbol. Open it. The door hissed and slid aside. Inside was a circular chamber filled with strange machinery. Silver rings floating in midair, humming with blue light. At the center stood a crystalline core pulsing slowly like a heart. It was beautiful and terrifying at once. Record everything, Vartil ordered. This could be the greatest discovery of our age. Relna hesitated. Captain, this looks like containment technology, not a power source. Vartil gave her a curious look. Containment for what? Before she could answer, the lights flickered. The air grew colder. The voice returned stronger this time. You've gone too far. The Zhurkai turned in surprise. The voice came from everywhere. The walls, the air, the machinery. Then a figure appeared in the glow of the central core. It was a projection of a human. Tall, dressed in an old-style suit with calm but tired eyes. My name is Dr. Elias Rourke, the hologram said. If you're seeing this, it means the Epsilon Gate has been breached. Leave now. You don't understand what you've touched. Relna tried to speak. We seek only knowledge. Rourke's image flickered. Knowledge is fine. But what lies here isn't meant to be used. It's a door, not a machine. And it leads to something that should never wake. Then the projection vanished. The machinery pulsed once more, and the power readings jumped tenfold. The team retreated to their shuttle as the outpost began to shake. Vartil shouted commands over the rising noise. All ships retreat immediately. The station is destabilizing. As they launched back into orbit, the outpost released a burst of energy. The light spread through space like a ripple, distorting sensors across the fleet. Several smaller ships lost contact, their systems overwhelmed by the wave. When it finally ended, the station was gone. Nothing remained, not even debris. Only the dying star, now strangely silent. Vartil's fleet limped back to the border, shaken and silent. Relna looked at the readings and whispered, "That wasn't a weapon. It was a warning." Vartil didn't respond. He stared out the viewport at the empty space where the outpost had been. Deep inside, a rare feeling crept into his mind. Fear. When the fleet returned to Dominion space, the Galactic Council demanded a report. Vartil described everything. The human markings, the projection, the impossible energy readings. But the Council dismissed it. Old myths, one elder said. The humans were extinct long ago. You found a malfunctioning relic, nothing more. Vartil tried to protest. With respect, the energy signature is irrelevant, interrupted another. Focus your attention on known civilizations. There's nothing of value at the galactic edge. Relna clenched her hands in frustration. We saw it with our own eyes. The humans built something beyond comprehension, but the Council ended the session. Their decision was final. The Zhurkai fleet was ordered to forget what it had seen. Weeks later, in the quiet of his quarters, Captain Vartil replayed the recording of Dr. Rourke's final words. It's a door, not a machine, and it leads to something that should never wake. He didn't sleep that night, because as his ship's sensors scanned the border again, they detected another faint pulse, deep, rhythmic, like a heartbeat. It came from a different star system just beyond their reach, another unmarked outpost. Vartil sat in silence, knowing what that meant. The humans weren't gone, they were just waiting, watching from the edge of the map, guarding secrets that could shake the galaxy itself. The news of the Zhurkai fleet's encounter spread slowly, but across the galaxy, curiosity never waited. Rumors traveled faster than official reports. Every civilization with even the slightest knowledge of human history whispered the same question. Are they really gone? Or are they waiting? For the Council of Galactic Civilizations, the answer could not be ignored. A meeting was called in the central system of Illyria, a neutral hub floating amid a nebula of green gases. Delegates from dozens of species arrived, their starships leaving trails of light as they entered the system. The Illyrian Council Hall was massive, domed with crystalline panels that reflected every color of the nebula. It was a place where politics, diplomacy, and fear mixed into an almost tangible presence. The first to speak was Ambassador Rakal of the Vara Dominion. He was a tall, blue-scaled alien with a voice that could shake the hall without a word raised. The humans are not extinct, Rakal declared, his gaze scanning the chamber. Our scouts found their outposts in the frontier. Their technology, it is unlike anything known. It is not primitive. It is dangerous. Murmurs ran through the hall. Some delegates shifted uneasily in their chairs. Ambassador Yelena of the Zhurkai stood next. I can confirm this. Our fleet encountered an outpost orbiting a dying star. We saw evidence of technology that manipulates gravity. We saw a projection, a human warning us. When we tried to leave, the station emitted a wave of energy that nearly destroyed our ships. The council chambers went silent. Even the oldest delegates had never heard of such a warning. Impossible, said Elder Sintar of the Lirari, a species known for calm logic. Humans were wiped out centuries ago. This is either a fabrication or a malfunction. Yelena shook her head. We recorded everything. There is no fabrication. And there was a name on the station, Aeternum. I do not know what it is, but it is alive. Meanwhile, on the outer edges of mapped space, other civilizations were sending their own probes. Small scout ships, unmanned drones, and long-range sensors all moved quietly toward the uncharted regions. Yet every one of them disappeared, not one probe returned. Communications failed halfway, sometimes just minutes after entering the human sector. Captain Jorik of the Vara Dominion led one such mission. He was a seasoned commander with decades of experience, yet even he felt a chill when the first drones vanished. It's like they're hiding, muttered Lieutenant Kale, staring at the readings on the main display. It's not just cloaking. The sensors fail completely. Gravity, energy, even time measurements, everything goes wrong near those systems. Jorik's eyes narrowed. No civilization can operate like that without a reason. Prepare a manned survey. I want to see with my own eyes what the humans left behind. The survey team approached the first outpost, orbiting a star dim and red with age. The structure was small, similar to the Epsilon gate the Jurkai had found, yet it emitted energy that was alive in its rhythm. Inside the station, they found remnants of human life, consoles, living quarters, and strange machinery humming quietly. The walls were marked with symbols and faded writing. None of it made sense to alien eyes, but the team felt a presence, a quiet, patient intelligence watching them. This is not a weapon, whispered Kyle. It's a library, a record, or maybe a warning. A soft vibration shook the station. The screens flickered to life, showing a hologram of a human. Unlike the projection the Jurkai saw, this one moved slowly with calm authority. You are not authorized, the hologram said. Turn back. You do not understand the danger you face, Jorik frowned. We are not here to fight. We only want knowledge, the human projection paused. Knowledge without understanding is dangerous. The systems you see are not inactive. They respond to intent. Your curiosity is noted. Your presence is noted. Leave before the threshold reacts. Before anyone could answer, the floor of the station vibrated more strongly. Consoles emitted blinding blue light. Instruments melted or froze. The team realized with horror that the system was alive, not in the way living beings are alive, but as if it were conscious in its operation. Kale grabbed Jorik's arm. Captain, it knows we're here. Jorik gave the order to retreat and the team evacuated. Outside, their ship barely avoided a pulse of energy that bent space, twisting the light of the dying star. For a moment it seemed the very fabric of reality rippled around the outpost. Back at the Illyrian Council, the reports returned. Jorik's voice was steady but grave. The humans left systems that are sentient in some way. They respond to presence and intent. No probe can survive their defenses. No fleet can approach without risk of being destroyed by forces we cannot understand. The council was silent. Then Elder Sintar spoke. If this is true, it changes everything. Humans were thought extinct because they were weak, primitive. But their legacy, their technology, may surpass any known civilization. Murmurs spread across the chamber. Some delegates whispered fearfully while others leaned forward, curiosity burning in their eyes. Ambassador Yelena added, We may have underestimated them. Their outposts are not weapons in the traditional sense. They are guardians and they are patient. They do not strike first. Yet any threat that comes too close is eliminated before it can act. A pause followed. Then Ambassador Rakal leaned forward, his voice deep and serious. Patience is a trait humans have always had, and when combined with cunning, it becomes terrifying. If the rumors are true, their secrets could reduce entire civilizations to ash, not because humans are aggressive, but because they are prepared for any aggression. Far from the council, on a quiet world at the edge of mapped space, the humans themselves worked in silence. Small settlements dotted the surface, powered by invisible energy fields and hidden by natural terrain. They lived quietly, cultivating knowledge, testing new systems and monitoring the galaxy's edge. Among them was Dr. Ilara Miles, a scientist who had worked on Project Eternum for decades. She stood before a central console, eyes scanning streams of data that no alien could understand. "Our systems are holding," she said to herself. "No fleet has entered Sol space since the last incident. But they are coming. I can feel it." Her assistant, a young engineer named Thomas, looked nervous. "Do you think they can detect us?" Ilara smiled faintly. "Not yet. But the galaxy is curious, and curiosity is dangerous." In the sky above, satellites hovered silently, monitoring every approach. Below, the humans lived simple lives, farming, learning, building. Yet every structure, every machine, and every small settlement was connected to something larger, something that could awaken if the need ever arose. Meanwhile, the Zhurkai and Vara fleets continued to probe the frontier. Every attempt met with failure. Ships vanished. Probes were lost. Even communications with distant bases became erratic near human space. Some began to speculate wildly. Maybe humans had discovered faster-than-light anomalies, hidden dimensions, or methods to manipulate space itself. Others whispered of quantum consciousness, the idea that humanity had made its machines self-aware in ways the galaxy could not comprehend. Jorik returned from his mission, reporting everything he had seen. "They are not extinct. They are alive, and they are waiting, not for war, but for survival. We must respect that." Yet respect was not universal. Some factions demanded immediate action, fleets to invade, systems to blockade, probes to destroy. The risk, they argued, was too great. The human secrets could not be allowed to persist. The council debated for days. Arguments rose and fell, votes were cast, and tempers flared. But in the end, no action was taken. Fear had slowed the galaxy, yet curiosity remained. As Part 2 draws to a close, the frontier remained silent, deceptively so. Stars flickered faintly in the distance, and alien fleets withdrew to avoid disaster. Yet humans continued their quiet work. Each outpost, each system, each small settlement was a testament to their endurance, ingenuity, and patience. And deep in the uncharted systems, something waited. Not anger, not aggression, but awareness, a sentinel network built over centuries. Something that remembered what humanity had faced, and that would respond to any threat in a way the galaxy was not yet ready to understand. The humans had not moved. The galaxy had, and soon someone would make the mistake of thinking the frontier was empty. Far beyond the bustling stars of the central systems, in the quiet edge of human space, Project Eternum continued its work. Hidden within a ring of asteroid fields, shielded from detection by natural radiation and clever engineering, the main facility stretched across the largest asteroid like a silver web of metal and light. It was not a fortress in the traditional sense. It did not need walls, soldiers, or weapons. Its strength lay in knowledge and foresight and a quiet, patient intelligence that had grown over centuries. Dr. Ilara Miles walked along a corridor of floating platforms, her boots silent against the smooth metallic surface. Blue lights traced the edges of the walls, and holographic displays floated above, showing streams of calculations, energy readings, and star maps. "This sector shows unusual activity," said Thomas, her young assistant pointing at a monitor. "Probes from 3 alien civilizations were lost here in the last cycle." "They're trying to find us," Ilara did not look surprised. "They always try. Curiosity is hard to resist, but our systems are ready. Nothing will reach Earth. Nothing will reach our people. Not now, not ever." Thomas hesitated. "Do you think they understand what we're protecting?" Ilara shook her head. "No, they will never understand unless they see it. And some things are better left unseen. Knowledge without responsibility can destroy worlds." At the heart of the facility, in a chamber larger than any human city, the core of Project Eternum pulsed gently. It was a lattice of light, energy, and memory, a machine that was more than a machine, alive in a way that was difficult to explain. It was a sentient system designed to protect humanity from the mistakes of its past. Centuries ago, humans had faced extinction. Wars, disease, and cosmic disasters had pushed them to the edge of annihilation. The Terran collapse, as it was called in human history books, had wiped out entire populations. Humanity had survived only because of ingenuity, cooperation, and sheer determination. Project Eternum was born from those lessons. It was not a weapon to conquer. It was a guardian, capable of responding to threats with precision, intelligence, and foresight that no other civilization could match. Dr. Miles walked to the main console and activated the central interface. A hologram of the original architect of Eternum appeared, a human figure, calm and measured with eyes that seemed to see beyond the stars. Project Eternum is active, the hologram said. It observes, it protects, and it remembers. All systems are interconnected. Any threat approaching humanity will be addressed before it reaches our worlds. Let no one mistake patience for weakness. The hologram flickered, then vanished. A soft hum filled the chamber as the system processed thousands of calculations, analyzing the positions, intentions, and potential actions of every fleet, probe, and sensor within 100 light-years. Thomas watched in awe. It's alive, he whispered. It thinks. It decides. But how? Ilara smiled faintly. It doesn't think like a human. It uses everything humanity has learned, everything we have experienced, and it applies it faster than any mind could. It doesn't just predict outcomes, it prevents them. Outside human space, fleets continued to gather. The Vara Dominion, the Xurkai, and several smaller civilizations debated what to do next. Some argued for direct contact. Others wanted to destroy the humans' outposts before they became a threat. Captain Jorik of the Vara fleet studied the reports again. Every probe we send is lost, he said, frustration in his voice. Every manned mission fails. We cannot even map their systems accurately. And yet, we see no ships leaving their worlds. They are not aggressive. Not yet. His first officer, Lieutenant Kale, leaned closer. Maybe that's the point. They don't need aggression. Their defense is enough to keep anyone away. They wait, they watch. They remember. Jorik's expression darkened. We've underestimated them for too long. We thought they were extinct. We thought they were weak, but now, I think they've learned what survival really means. And we don't know the rules. Back in Project Eternum, the system detected an incoming fleet, the Xurkai ships approaching a distant outpost. It did not panic. It did not strike immediately. It calculated probabilities, monitoring intent, scanning for signals of aggression, curiosity, or deception. Ilara and Thomas watched the holographic displays. They are coming closer, Tomas said. Do we warn them? Ilara shook her head. No, the system will decide. If they mean no harm, nothing happens. If they act with aggression, we respond. But our goal is always survival, never unnecessary destruction. The system hummed louder, pulsing with light that reflected in the wide eyes of Thomas. It's almost like it's alive, he said again, unable to hide his awe. Yes, Ilara replied. Alive in a way the galaxy cannot understand. That is why humans survived the Terran collapse, and that is why we remain safe today, because we built a guardian that remembers and remembers well. The Xurkai fleet reached the edge of the outpost shield. Sensors failed immediately. Communications became static. Gravity readings fluctuated wildly. The fleet's engines struggled to stabilize. Captain Vartil aboard the shimmering path shouted over the alarms. Hold position. Maintain course. Do not trigger anything. But the system had already noted them. It did not attack yet. It watched, calculated, prepared, intent, exploratory, cautious. Threat level, low. The fleet remained still, waiting. Moments passed. The air in the command room of the shimmering path felt heavy. Then a projection appeared above the control console, a human figure, calm, measured, and ancient in presence. You have entered the frontier, the figure said. You are observed. You may leave safely, or you may learn consequences you cannot survive. Your choice. The fleet commander swallowed hard. We mean no harm, he said, voice trembling. The hologram nodded slowly. Then leave. Remember what you saw. Spread no tales of power. Humanity will remain hidden as long as you respect our boundaries. The projection vanished. The sensors returned to normal. The fleet shuddered but remained intact. Slowly, the Xurkai ships withdrew, leaving the outpost undisturbed. Back in the asteroid facility, Ilara monitored the encounter. They are learning, she said. They will report back, and their civilizations will fear what they do not understand. And that fear keeps them away. Thomas looked thoughtful. They'll think humans are dangerous, maybe even unstoppable. Ilara smiled faintly. We are not unstoppable. We are patient. And patience is more powerful than aggression. Let them fear what they cannot touch. Let them think we are extinct. That is our true protection. She turned to the glowing core of Eternum. The lattice of energy pulsed rhythmically like a heartbeat. It had recorded every movement, every calculation, every fleet's position. It would continue to watch, protect, and remember. Forever. And somewhere deep in the uncharted systems, other civilizations whispered of humans who survived against impossible odds. Of technology that could bend reality itself. Of secrets that, if unleashed, could change the galaxy forever. But for now, humanity remained hidden, silent, waiting. Project Eternum continued its quiet vigilance, ensuring that no fleet, no probe, and no curious mind could reach the worlds that humans called home. At the edge of the galaxy, humanity thrived. Their outposts were quiet, their worlds were safe, and their secret, a network of intelligence, guardianship, and memory, continued to pulse softly, unseen, unchallenged, and undisturbed. The galaxy did not know what it had lost, and it did not yet understand the power of patience, memory, and ingenuity. The edge of human space had never been quiet, but today it felt different. Something in the void was stirring, almost like a warning echoing across the stars. Fleets from multiple civilizations gathered near the uncharted systems, their ships shimmering against the darkness of space. Captain Jorik of the Vara Dominion stared at the holographic map aboard the Iron Resolve. Lines traced the positions of alien fleets converging near several human outposts. "They are coming closer," he said, voice low. "And I do not like it." Lieutenant Kyle looked up from the navigation console. "We have confirmation. The Zurkai fleet is moving in formation, heading toward the outpost near Epsilon Gate. But there's more. Several smaller scout ships from other civilizations have also entered the system." Jorik's eyes narrowed. "We may have underestimated humanity. The sensors say the outposts are still small. But something is wrong." Before Kale could respond, alarms blared. Red lights filled the bridge. The ship's instruments trembled. Gravity readings fluctuated violently, and the stars outside twisted into impossible shapes. "Captain," Kale shouted. "The sensors are failing. Multiple readings are impossible to interpret." Jorik gritted his teeth. "Steady, do not panic. Keep your positions." In the hidden human outpost, Dr. Elara Miles observed the approaching fleets calmly. The core of Project Eternum pulsed softly, responding to the intruders without haste. "They are here," Thomas whispered, tension in his voice. "Do we activate defenses?" Elara shook her head. "Not yet. The system will judge. Aggression triggers response. Observation triggers nothing. Let us see what they intend." Outside, the alien fleets hesitated. Their scanners flickered uncontrollably as the outpost emitted subtle waves of energy, bending light and space in ways the invaders could not comprehend. Ships that had been confident moments ago now drifted uncertainly. In the Vara flagship, Captain Jorik struggled to interpret the readings. "Our communications are down. Engines are unstable. Every attempt to scan the outpost is failing." Kyle's voice trembled. "It's as if the outpost knows we are here, and it's responding." Suddenly, the silence was broken by a pulse of energy. A blue wave radiated outward from the outpost, bending the nearby space. Fleets were caught in the ripple. One by one, smaller ships vanished entirely. Sensors could no longer detect them. Communications went silent. "Status!" Jorik shouted. "What is happening?" Kale struggled with the controls. "It's not firing weapons. It's folding space." Some of the ships are gone entirely. Others are being pushed back by an invisible force. The fleet's commanders realized what they were witnessing. This was not an attack in the traditional sense. This was control over space itself, precise, intelligent, and deliberate. Project Eternum has judged. The pulse subsided as suddenly as it had begun. The surviving ships drifted, shaken and confused. No casualties, yet the message was clear. The humans were not to be approached lightly. In the human command center, Elara observed the results. "The system responds exactly as it should," she said softly. "It did not strike first. It only prevented danger." Thomas looked in awe. "It's alive. And it's thinking." "Faster than anyone else could," Elara nodded. "Yes, Project Eternum remembers everything humanity has faced. It learns from every encounter, every threat, every curiosity, and it acts with precision. protecting our people without unnecessary aggression. The system hummed, the blue light pulsing in quiet rhythm. It had analyzed every possibility, calculated outcomes for hundreds of civilizations, and acted to maintain humanity's safety. Across the galaxy, news of the strange events began to spread. Observers from distant civilizations reported entire fleets disappearing or being repelled without a single shot fired. Scientists and generals alike could not explain the phenomenon. Rumors circulated. Humans were no longer the weak species remembered in ancient archives. Humans had survived, adapted, and built a network capable of manipulating space itself. Ambassador Rakal of the Vara Dominion addressed the council. They are not extinct. They do not attack. Yet they control space in ways we cannot understand. Every attempt to map or approach their systems fails. I do not know how to classify this power. Elder Sintar, normally calm and logical, leaned forward. We are witnessing something unprecedented. It is not weaponry. It is strategy, intelligence, patience turned into defense, and we cannot predict the next move. In the aftermath, surviving fleets returned to their own space. The experience left them shaken. Captain Vartil of the Zurkai was among the first to speak upon debriefing. They do not strike, he said, but they do not allow us to remain. Their technology, their system. It is alive. It watches, it calculates, and it responds. We have no choice but to respect it. And yet, I fear we have not seen the full extent of what they can do. In human space, Alara and her team continued their work, undisturbed. Outposts remained silent, settlements quiet, and fleets watching from afar had been forced to acknowledge the humans' unseen power. Patience is more powerful than aggression. It was the unspoken rule of the frontier. The humans had survived the collapse of their homeworld centuries ago, and now the galaxy itself had learned a lesson. Curiosity must be tempered with respect, but not everyone would heed that lesson. A faction of the Zurkai fleet, led by a young and ambitious captain, refused to believe the reports. We are explorers, she said. We must understand. We cannot let fear stop us. Her small squadron moved toward another outpost despite warnings. Sensors failed almost immediately. Communications broke. Gravity warped. Ships twisted in ways that defied logic. The humans did not strike. They observed. And the system acted in subtle ways. The squadron found themselves returned to friendly space, disoriented with engines strained and systems damaged, but no lives lost. It was a warning delivered without hostility, demonstrating intelligence and precision far beyond conventional understanding. Back on Earth, or what remained of humanity's central hub, Ilara walked among the quiet facilities. She paused before the glowing core of Eternum. They are learning, she whispered. They fear what they cannot control, and that fear keeps them at the edge where they belong. Thomas looked at her, awe in his eyes. Do you think they'll ever stop? Ilara shook her head. Perhaps not, but we do not need them to stop. Our work is patience, observation, and protection. The galaxy may never understand us, and that is exactly how it should be. The blue pulse of Eternum continued, a heartbeat in the darkness, silent, vigilant, and patient. It remembered every intrusion, every curiosity, every fleet that had dared approach human space, and it would continue to respond in subtle, precise ways, ensuring that humanity survived. In the quiet of space beyond the frontier, fleets returned home to recount what they had seen. Some did not believe the stories. Others swore they would never return. Across civilizations, curiosity battled fear and caution prevailed. The humans remained hidden, unchallenged, and unobserved. Their outposts and systems pulsed with quiet intelligence, a testament to endurance, ingenuity, and the lessons of survival. The galaxy trembled not from human aggression, but from human ingenuity. And at the edge of the map, humanity waited, patient, vigilant, and ready. The galaxy had learned a lesson without a battle. Fleets no longer dared approach the human frontier. Maps marked human space as restricted. Scientists, explorers, and admirals whispered warnings, do not enter. But curiosity is a constant companion in the hearts of the ambitious. Some fleets still observed from afar, sending remote drones and small probes, hoping to glimpse the human secrets without risk. None returned. In the heart of human space, Dr. Ilara Miles stood before the glowing lattice of Project Eternum. Its hum filled the chamber like a quiet heartbeat, steady and constant. It had protected humanity countless times without intervention. It had bent space, shielded settlements, and prevented aggression without firing a single weapon. Ilara's eyes traced the energy streams as they moved through the system, monitoring approaching fleets. "They still try," she said quietly, "and that is why the system exists. To observe, to respond, to protect. Nothing more. Nothing less." Tomas, standing nearby, swallowed nervously. "Do you think they'll ever understand us?" Ilara shook her head. "No, and that is exactly how it should be. Knowledge without respect is dangerous. Our secret is not meant to be shared, only preserved. And preserved it will be, at all costs." Beyond the human frontier, a coalition of alien fleets had gathered. Emboldened by curiosity and ambition, they formed a plan. A coordinated entry into the frontier to test the humans' strength. Ships of the Zhurkai, Vara, and Lirari lined up in formation, weapons primed, sensors scanning. Captain Vartil, seasoned and cautious, tried to warn them. "Do not underestimate them. They are patient. They do not strike first, but their defenses are beyond comprehension. Retreat while you still can." Many ignored him. "We will know the truth," said Admiral Korin of the Lirari, a species known for tactical brilliance. "Even if it costs us our fleet, we must see what lies at the edge of the map." As the coalition fleet entered human space, sensors began to fail. Instruments went haywire. Communications broke. Gravity fluctuated. Time measurements twisted. The fleet faltered, unsure of its position or velocity. "This is impossible," Korin muttered. "Our readings. They make no sense." Captain Vartil gritted his teeth. "I warned you. They do not strike, but they do not allow intrusion. Their power is beyond what we know." Suddenly, a pulse of energy spread through the fleet. Ships were lifted, rotated, and repositioned by an invisible force. Yet, astonishingly, no casualties occurred. The fleet's commanders realized that the humans were not attacking in the traditional sense. They were controlling space itself, bending it to prevent harm while sending a clear warning. Intent aggressive. Threat level high. The pulse receded, leaving the coalition fleet shaken, damaged, and disoriented. Inside Project Eternum, the central core recorded every detail. The lattice pulsed softly, responding to each ship's movement, each change in speed or trajectory. The system calculated countless outcomes, measuring every possibility. It had learned from human history, from humanity's triumphs and failures. It acted with intelligence, precision, and care. Ilara watched calmly. They do not understand what they face. They see only the consequences, not the reason. Project Eternum does not destroy without cause. It only preserves. Thomas, still staring at the holographic displays, whispered, "It's like it remembers. Like it knows what humanity endured before and it will not let it happen again." Ilara nodded. "Exactly. Every fleet that enters, every probe that approaches, every curiosity that risks discovery. The system learns and responds. That is why humanity survived the collapse. That is why we are here today." Back in the coalition fleet, panic spread. Some commanders ordered retreats. Others tried to regroup, hoping to find a weakness. But every attempt failed. Project Eternum anticipated, adjusted, and corrected. Ships that acted with aggression were redirected or repelled. Ships that acted with caution were allowed to observe, as long as they respected the boundaries. Admiral Korin finally ordered a withdrawal. "We have seen enough," she said. "Humanity is not extinct. Humanity is something we do not yet understand, and we cannot risk confrontation." The fleet left the frontier, carrying with it fear, awe, and unanswered questions. Across civilizations, reports spread. Scholars, generals, and explorers debated what they had seen. Humans were no longer a primitive species lost to history. They were a force shaped by survival, intelligence, and patience, a species capable of defending itself without hostility, commanding respect through ingenuity and caution. In the quiet of the human outpost, Ilara walked among the systems, observing the aftermath. Settlements were untouched. Systems hummed in perfect rhythm. Energy fields protected cities and outposts alike. Project Eternum continued to pulse, a heartbeat in the darkness of space. Thomas followed her, awe written across his face. "They'll think we are unstoppable," he said. "Even though we haven't attacked." Ilara smiled faintly. "We are not unstoppable. We are vigilant. We are patient. And that is more than enough." The galaxy must learn respect, not fear. That is our true strength. Later, a message was transmitted to the Galactic Council. It was brief, simple, and firm. Do not come closer. We remember what we had to do last time. Respect our space and humanity remains hidden. Violate this warning and you face consequences you cannot imagine. Across the council chambers, silence fell. Every species realized the truth: humans were not extinct. Humans were not weak. Humans had survived catastrophes that no other species could endure, and they had built systems to ensure they would never be threatened again. The galaxy had been reminded, gently but firmly, that humanity's patience was a shield, and their ingenuity was unmatched. Back at Project Eternum, the core pulsed softly. It had not activated any destructive force. It had simply observed, responded, and protected. Its memory contained every detail of every approaching fleet, every intrusion, every threat. And it would continue to do so, indefinitely, ensuring that humanity remained safe. Alara and Thomas walked through the quiet halls of the facility. "The galaxy will speak of humans in whispers," Thomas said. "Some will fear us, some will respect us, but none will ever truly understand." Alara nodded. "And that is exactly as it should be. Humanity does not need recognition. We need survival, and Eternum ensures that, always." Outside, the frontier remained silent. Stars flickered faintly against the dark void. Alien fleets no longer dared approach. Satellites floated in hidden orbits. Outposts watched patiently. The galaxy had learned caution, and humanity had secured its place at the edge of the map, and deep within, Project Eternum hummed. A quiet sentinel born of human determination and ingenuity. It remembered the past. It observed the present. It would protect the future. For humanity, the frontier was not a limit. It was a home, a sanctuary, a testament to what a species could achieve when it survived, endured and remembered, and the galaxy, for all its stars and civilizations, had only begun to understand the power of patience, intelligence, and resilience. At the edge of the map, humanity remained. Silent, vigilant, safe. The secrets of their survival, the legacy of Eternum, would remain hidden, yet always watching, ready to respond if the galaxy ever forgot its lesson. The humans had won not through war or aggression, but through perseverance, ingenuity, and foresight. And in the quiet of the frontier, the pulse of Eternum echoed a simple truth: humanity survives, and it will endure.